I think that Nate is just this, this fun kid who is finding who he is and like finding his place in the world. And I he definitely has a journey, and he definitely learns who he is, and finds his light. And I think that's a really cool thing. So me and Nate are very similar. Like we're both from small towns. We both are theater kids. We both got to follow our dreams, even down to the specific things like he loves Wicked and I love Wicked. And I really think it's beautiful to be able to follow him on this journey and bring him to life, and really help him like figure out who he is, which in turn is, helping me discover who I am. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And he just brings this energy to set that makes it feel like, you're at home, you're like, he makes it everyone feel like a family. And I his directing style is just so amazing and so unique. And I think I think that it was just really an amazing, like he has this amazing way of like putting things and wording things so that you know exactly what he means. And I think that every movie or show that he directs, people are going to watch and be like, that's a Tim Federle original, because it's just so amazing. I think that one of the bigger challenges for me was really, breaking through the the emotions of it, because I mean, I'm a very emotional person. Like, I'm very in touch with my emotions. I like feel things. And I guess it was a challenge, but it wasn't. It was more of just like a learning experience to look at a piece of paper and turn it from a piece of paper into a a real life moment, an emotional scenario. And I definitely learned a lot. I think that people watching should walk away from this film with a newfound sense of confidence, and a sense of who they are, and a sense that as long as they are truly themselves, then they can get where they need to be.
Anthony Foster is an athlete, an older brother, and very out of touch with his emotions. I think he doesn't understand how Nate can be so unembarrassed of himself, just because that's something that he's always experienced. And so as he watches Nate step out and shine his light and be who he is, I think, you see how inspired he is by that. But yes. Yeah, there's more differences than similarities. I mean, I am not an athlete. I would like to think I'm a little bit more in touch with my emotions. But in similarity, I do have a little sibling, and I do understand that sort of the dynamic of like you're like, I can pick on you, but no one else can, kind of thing. Like, you're very protective, but you're also like still the older brother. So I relate to him in that way. But yeah, I think we're different in most ways. Yeah, I mean, Tim Federle is normally the executive producer on High School Musical, and so he's sort of more the hands-off type, or he'll give the note to the director to give to me or whatever. So to see him step into that position and really be the captain of the ship was just so inspiring and beautiful to see. And he really stepped into his place and stepped up, and I think everyone respected him. And there were even crew members who were like, I've been doing this for 30 years and no director has ever known my name until now. And so in that way, he's just always so considerate and a beaming light to look up to. I think it was interesting working with Tim and working with a character that could potentially be similar to Ricky on High School Musical. And so, working through the nuances of like the differences in the character was interesting. But I think honestly, the most challenging part of the film was that we were shooting in New York City, and it's very loud. And a lot of times we'd be doing scenes and sirens are going by, and we just have to hold Hold for Sirens. If I have to hear Hold for Sirens one more time, I don't know what I'll do. But yeah, so I think filming in the city was both the best part and also the most challenging.
Well, Libby, she is super fun. She's super supportive. She's very organized and kind of, she's like, has it very figured out, but at the same time, she is still finding herself and finding her what she wants, finding her light. So she's just a very spunky and fun character that you'll see a journey throughout this movie. Me and Libby have some similarities. Our confidence, our our energy is just very similar. The kind of friend that she is, I feel like that is me to some of my friends. Just that's being that support system. That's very much Aria. But also there are a lot of differences in the fact that Libby doesn't like the spotlight. She doesn't really want to be on stage doing things. I'm am the opposite. I love being like on stage, on camera. That's definitely me. So we have like those things in common, those things that are different. And also just her like organization. I'm an organized person, but when it comes to the type of organization she has and knowing what to tell Nate, what to do and when, I don't always have that. I'm working on that. Tim is great. He's like the best director on the planet. He just like the way he directs, he keeps you motivated and he's affirming throughout the process, making sure you know you're not doing anything wrong, you're doing great, just do this, fix this. And like, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like he doesn't sugarcoat things. If something needs to change, he'll present it in a way that's like tasteful and like we can kind of pick it up. And it made it so much easier to work with him and amazing, just an amazing on-set experience. He has a way of doing that on every set. I think some of the biggest challenges, I think maybe like longer scenes possibly, because there were like long moments throughout. And I think it was like pacing and timing because Tim has said himself he wants this movie to feel like with people's attention spans, he wants it to go by and wants to keep people in. So a lot of times on set, if it was a longer scene, it was a lot of speeding it up. Like, okay, now deliver this fast, not too fast where they can't hear it. I think that might have been my biggest challenge because I can talk fast sometimes as I slow down. But like I can talk fast at times, but then like just figuring out the timing of things was probably the biggest thing I had to overcome. I hope that audience will learn to follow their dreams and be themselves because those are the biggest themes in this movie. Those are things that you should take with you in life because to be successful, you have to, one, be yourself and you have to be persistent. If you're not sticking with what you want, you're probably not going to get it. You know, so like I'm a big like manifester. So I'm really big on like law of attraction and different things like that for another time. But like a big part of that is to be intentional and to continue manifesting what you want. So I think it's very big that you keep going and be persistent.
I play Aunt Heidi, and Aunt Heidi is someone who it seems had a very promising start to her Broadway career. And then things don't seem to have worked out the way she expected them to. And now she's mostly a cater waiter. And so I say she's kind of beaten down, but not out. She's not bitter. And I think Nate coming back into her life reminds her how nice it is to have family and have support. And also, to feel pretty good about what you have accomplished. And so you can keep going. The thing that attracted me first to this project was just how well written it was, how fun this was. And also, I felt like there were so many great messages in the story of Nate, so many good messages that, it sometimes feels like you don't fit in. And sometimes you really don't fit in. But it's okay if you actually like yourself, like Nate clearly just deep down does. Because if you really like yourself, then you can let your truths come out. And ultimately, that's going to end up being a good thing for you. I think I have a lot in common with Heidi. I think I threw a lot of myself into her. But in what ways? I don't know. Uh, and the thing I don't have in common with her is she seems to be pretty happy living in Queens. It was really fun working with Ruby and Aria. They were so happy to be there. And I love working when everybody's happy to be there. And they were so professional and so interested in everybody. And they were heaven. They were just heaven. And I loved talking to them in between and finding, what's your life like right now? You're 14 and you're here in New York and you're working and you're seeing things and you're like, what is it? How is that? Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. Working with Tim Federle was a dream. Tim knew exactly what he wanted. He knew it was like he had an abundance in him that allowed him to be generous with, yeah, you can try it again. I think I have what I need. He could be patient. He could be calm. And it was calm. When you think about everything that had to be done in this film, it's a musical. They had to record things. There are major production numbers, and he's just so calm. That's unbelievable to me. Very lucky whoever gets to work with him. And I'm one of them. Nothing felt like a challenge making this film, just because everyone was so lovely and great. I mean, if there's ever a challenge for me, it's usually an obstacle that I'm throwing up, myself. And sometimes there was with, memorizing lines or something like that. But I think I did. Oh no, I know what the challenge was. There was one challenge for me when we're shooting and it's a hot day and we can't have any of the air conditioning going. And then it's so hot that I swear, I think my brain is melting and I can't remember lines. It's like my brain is saying, you can't pretend to be someone else somewhere else because you have to be right here, right now and figure out how to get out of this hot box. I swear, that's what it feels like when it's too hot. I hope audiences who see Better Nate Than Ever, I hope they have fun, which they will. But I also hope what they take away is, why not just like yourself? Because things go a little easier if you do. I mean, the hurdles are always going to be there, but why add to them yourself? Because Nate deep down likes himself. He knows he doesn't fit in. He knows what other people think about him. Yeah, it bumps him a little, but then he just gets right back to himself, being himself. And that's what's so inspiring. And that's the joy of this movie to me, honestly.
Better Nate Than Ever is about a small town kid from Pittsburgh with a huge Broadway dream. And the movie is all about the coming of age adventure of running away from home in order to crash an audition for a Broadway show. But really what it's about is finding your people, finding your light, and surrounding yourself with love and music. I think the key themes of Better Nate Than Ever are family, acceptance, and authenticity. A lot of this movie is very autobiographical. I, like Nate, was chosen last for dodgeball every day in Pittsburgh as a middle schooler. I went to New York as a teenager with a big Broadway dream. I had an older brother who didn't quite understand me. And ultimately, like Nate, I was lucky enough to be surrounded by mentors and advisors and dance teachers who saw me and accepted me and encouraged me. And I hope the audience relates to that kind of character with a big, crazy dream. Casting the film, directing the film was a dream. Joshua Bassett was the first person cast in High School Musical, the show I run for Disney Plus, and he was the first person cast in Better Nate Than Ever. He's like a good luck charm. He's a good guy with a big heart and charisma for days. Aria Brooks came in for Libby, and she was one of the very first auditions I saw. She announced herself with spunk and spirit and such intelligence, and she just walked away with the role instantly. And Rueby Wood came out of the woods of Syracuse as this big theater kid who sang Defying Gravity from Wicked for his first audition. He came back in about 7 more times, and no matter what direction he was given, Ruby always got back up with a great attitude, like all theater kids have. And it was a thrill to watch Josh, Aria, and Ruby bring these characters to life. I've been a Lisa Kudrow fan since I was a teenager. Disney asked me to put together a list of dream actors to play Nate's Aunt Heidi. I said I can put together a list, but there's really just one. I wrote Lisa a letter, a fan letter out of the blue. I did not know Lisa. And I basically said, these are all the reasons I dream of you playing Aunt Heidi. And she said yes. And the best thing you can do with Lisa Kudrow is get out of the way, because her instincts are so authentic and funny and sweet and heartbreaking. And Lisa is surrounded by a cast of adult actors, including Norbert Leo Butz and Michelle Federer, who are genuine Broadway babies, who understand the spirit and style of a real New York City movie. And I can't wait for the audience to see the Easter eggs of all the Broadway references and people who are all over this movie. This is my first movie as a director. And funnily enough, as a showrunner of a TV series, it's a lot of the same skills. It's time management, people management, emotional management. The biggest challenge of filming Better Nate Than Ever in New York City on location is that the movie stars 2 14-year-olds who have very limited work hours, and they're balancing homework and curfews. And so you oftentimes only get a couple of takes behind the camera before you have to move on. But it was a dream come true. And what I've learned between High School Musical and Better Nate Than Ever is, when in doubt, always cast a theater kid. I hope audiences who watch Better Nate Than Ever are left with earworms with these 3 great songs we've got. I hope they have a pep in their step and the inspiration to maybe follow a crazy dream they have. And I also hope they really relate to Nate and Libby at the center of this movie, because if you don't put limits on kids, they can be unlimited.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and comment on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released.